Hey there, we made some really big changes to this restock page. So first off, we made the restock page an actual restock page instead of a inventory management page. Now don't worry, you can still manage your inventory through the restock page, but by default, it should be a restock page. So what it does now, instead of before just listing all of your inventory, so right here you see that I have 724 active inventory, but only 663 are being displayed right now, is because only 663 items actually need to be restocked. So the first thing to note is if you do want to see all of your inventory and not just the items that need to be restocked, then go to filters and go down to this new filter that you have called needs restock and just mark it as all. If you change this to all and hit apply, you will see all of your inventory, whether or not it needs to be restocked. So by default, it's showing you all items that need to be restocked. Now, what we did was we made it easy to know what I need to restock by categorizing them into separate buckets. So with these buckets, you can see that here are 293 items that need to be restocked, and it meets my margin criteria. So how do I set my margin criteria is to click on this setting cog right here, and inside of the settings page, you can see that my target type, I can change it from ROI or margin. And within the restock basis, I can use my price, current buy box. For instance, if I like to use the current buy box that we are able to pull, 30-day average, 90-day average, 180 days. So do note that it is based off of my price as default. So if you do like to use the market data, change it to one of these settings. So here I'm going to change it to my current buy box to calculate my profit margin. ROI target, you can put in your minimum ROI target. So if your minimum is 30%, then the system will consider anything that meets 30% or more in that first bucket. Alternatively, if you like to use margin, if you select margin here, then let us know what your minimum margins are to consider including those items into that bucket here that you see. So anything that meets that criteria will be made off of that those settings. And once you are satisfied with your settings, make sure you hit the save profitability settings. And then once you refresh your page, then everything will be calculated based off of those settings. So you see here that once I've made my settings changes to my settings, you can see that the numbers have changed, because it is now not based off of my price, but it's based off of the current market data price. So the results have changed. Now next, we should note that all of these buckets are being displayed by default. So needs restock and meets target is being displayed. That's 256 items. 338 of them needs to be restocked, meaning you are low on inventory or out of inventory, but is below your target, or it needs a cost. So we grouped everything that doesn't have a cost of goods sold based off of into this bucket as well. So if you just want to see anything that you don't have a cost for, you can turn off these, you can toggle these and turn them off. Or you can go to filters, which would probably be a little bit quicker, and check some of these off right here, and then hit apply, and then that only this will be displayed. And you can do that with any of those buckets. You can really just go to the restock profit and click on any of these if you only want to individually display those items. Now, needs restock and losing means you're actually losing money, but these items are out of stock. So these are here for you to reconsider if you can get it for a cheaper cost or whatnot, and improve those profitability to consider restocking. Or sometimes you might want to restock these items even though you've lost money in the past, but if the market conditions have changed, such as a decrease in competition or whatnot, you can certainly consider them to be replenished. Now, the next thing to note, and this is a very, very big change, so I really want to emphasize this, is in the past, the restock page was based off of your last purchase cost, your buy cost. So all of this profitability was based off of your cost that you last purchased the item for. Now, this has a lot of limitations which we've removed from this recent update. The limitation to using your last purchase price is that it makes an assumption that you can buy that product for the same price again, which in general in this business is not the case. So a lot of buy costs will either go up or down. Rarely does it actually stay the same. The recent update has buy cost calculating these profit margins based off of your lead cost. So what it does is it takes your latest lead that you have inside of the lead vault for this ASIN and this supplier, and it uses that to uses that as the basis of the cost to calculate this profit margin. Now, if that sounds confusing, let me just restate it in a different way. The lead vault is calculating profit based off of the latest lead inside of the lead vault. And we've just made it consistent in the restock page by using the lead as the basis for your profit calculation. So both the restock page and the lead vault uses the same calculation. Now, the benefit to this, and this is a huge benefit, is that now you can use our live cost feature in the restock page to calculate your profit margins, just as you can use that inside of the lead vault. So if you think about it, in the lead vault page, our live cost feature is updating that lead cost every time you run a live cost update. So that now what it means is that live cost will carry over to the restock page, which means that your restock is always up to date with the latest cost for this ASIN, giving you a much more accurate restock forecast so that you know what you need to restock based off of these buckets that it's calculating for you. So in a practical sense, what you need to do is just make sure that your ASINs inside of your lead vault is up to date with the latest cost, and the restock page will follow. Now, this is a huge benefit for you folks who are doing wholesale, because now what you can do is you can take your wholesale distributor list and upload them into the lead vault every time you get a new list or before you're about to restock. Upload that list into the lead vault and replace the latest lead with the cost that you are getting from your supplier. And once you do that, the restock page will automatically update the lead cost because that cost comes from the lead vault. So then that means your restock will be more accurate in that your latest supplier cost will be the basis to which the restock is being based on, the profit margins are being based on. So this is absolutely huge. I can't emphasize that enough. So here's an example of me turning off these buckets right here. I want to know, for instance, all of my items that need to be restocked that are below my target or needs cost. So if I go to my filters and just select that bucket, or alternatively, I can click one of these to turn them off. Like you see here, they're disabled and only this green one right here is displayed. That means this bucket is the only one being displayed. Then I can see some of my lead costs, some of my ASINs in here that have no lead cost. And I can simply do, again, a upload into importing my leads that will contain this ASIN, or I can just hit this button right here to create a new lead, and that would launch the new the lead edit page, where I can then enter in my source URL, my cost, my supplier, etc., and it will create the lead for me. And update the lead cost, and that would make it a valid lead to then remove it out of this bucket, or at least not consider it need cost any longer. So the next change here is within the velocity. So in the past, the system was not able to recognize products that you haven't sold in a while. So for instance, if I haven't sold this product in more than 180 days, I really have no sales velocity that I'm telling the system, okay, how much to restock and when I should restock. So the change that we made now is that we don't have a weird date to order date. So for instance, all of these dates are based off of us knowing how fast these products sell. So if you don't have a sales velocity because you haven't sold it in a while, that doesn't mean the items don't need to be restocked. So here, all of these date coverages and all of this right here remains 0 because we have no sales velocity. But what it does is it prompts you to order a specific quantity. So here you see that the order quantity is set to 1 and the date to order is in review. And that's because, again, we have 0 sales velocity data to give you any sort of recommendation. So the default quantity to order is always 1, but you can change that by clicking on this gear cog right here by going to the ASIN, the restock setting, and then you can then change the default quantity to purchase here to something else. So for instance, items that are inactive for a while, if I wanted to change this to 5, I could do that. I could change it to 5 default quantity here. Do note that this is an ASIN restock setting that I can set for specific ASINs, and we're going to go over some of these other things here in a bit, but just do note that I can change the default purchase quantity for this particular ASIN here by clicking this gear cog. We've added velocity modifiers. To change the velocity, what you can do is you can click on this gear cog right here, and it'll launch the default velocity modifier. So what you can do with this is set certain periods of time where you want the velocity to be adjusted. So for instance, if I know that in Q4, I'm going to want to adjust up for my velocity. So for instance, if I want to say, let's say I want to start on November 1st to January, for instance. So for between November 1st and January 31st, 2027, I can adjust the modifier. So I can say do 100% modifier, and I can add an adjustment period here. And what this is going to do is, if the system normally recommends that I order 10 units, for instance, then what is going to happen is during this period of time, it's going to recommend 100% more. So instead of 10 units, it's going to recommend I order 20 units. So you can use this modifier to adjust different periods of the year where you don't want to depend on the default velocity, and actually just use the use an additional modifier to ramp up your quantity purchases for certain periods of the year. Now, this is the default modifier that I could set, but what I can also do is go to the ASIN itself and then set a restock setting here. So if I click on this individual gear cog, then let's say for instance this modifier, let's say for instance for that same example, I don't want the for Q4, let's say this product is not a popular product for Q4. I can also say between November 1st and January 31st, set a 0 modifier. And if I do an adjustment here and I add this modify here for this ASIN, then anything that I set for a specific ASIN will override any defaults. So for instance, if this particular ASIN, I want a different lead time, let's say it takes a little bit longer for me to get this particular product from the supplier, then I can set it for 30 days. And although all of my other suppliers has a default lead time of 14, this particular ASIN, I can set it so that it takes 30 days for this ASIN. So our restock recommendations will be adjusted for this ASIN based off of individual ASIN settings. So this is really gives you the maximum amount of customizations for your ASINs and really allow you to fine tune your ASINs on how you want to restock them. Now within the supplier page, if I wanted to set all of my lead time and supplier safety periods for all of my suppliers, I can do this now in bulk. So if I go to leads, the leads menu, and go to suppliers, and I go here, then I can just simply set all of my supplier lead time and safety stock all at once. I can just click this, type confirm, because you're applying this to all 1,713 suppliers here. If I hit continue and set the lead time to, for instance, 14, safety period 0, and hit apply, and you can see that all of these are now set all for me all at once. We've also updated the filters to add some more control. So for instance, now since restock is based off of lead cost, you can also filter out certain lead costs. So for instance, if you have like fake lead costs, like $1 or something like that, you can also do lead costs greater than $1 to filter those out. And of course, you can always filter by the previous things that you can already do, like exclude fake suppliers or anything like that. And then restock profit, you can use this filter now and just use this as a more simpler method to do restocking. So you can do, let's say for instance, ROI, the last 30-day average greater than X%. So let's say for instance, you can do the last 30-day average for the restock profit based off of ROI here. Another change that we also did was to the Merc dashboard itself. So anything that needs to be restocked, there is a new bucket in here as well. And if I just click on this, it opens, it takes me directly to the restock page that what I need to replenish. So Merc is also telling you how much you need to restock here as well. We also allow you to edit your lead cost here directly. So you can just hit this pencil button and it takes you to the lead itself and you can edit the cost here. Also, the Walmart restock page has also gotten a refresh. So you can see here that we've also added these buckets to the Walmart profit page as well. So here you can manage your restock for Walmart in the very same manner. Also, another big change here is that we automatically add the quantity to order directly to the cart. So instead of the previous behavior in the past, when I hit add to cart, I had to go and modify how many I want to buy. It would just default to 1. I would have to refer back to this quantity to order, but now it automatically adds the recommended quantity to order here for me instead of just blindly adding a 1. For instance, this one right here tells me to order 2. If I hit add to cart here, you'll see that there is 2 added to cart, and that reduces the amount of work that that I have to manually figure out how many to buy. Instead, I can just use 3P Mercury's recommendation here and it'll automatically add it to here. Very similar to how Merc behaves when you do restock on that page. So this is a huge convenience feature here that a lot of you guys have been asking for. So that pretty much wraps it up. So the restock page is now a lot more intelligent and a lot more customizable. For sure, much more convenient in all of these features that we've added. So next thing that we recommend you do is just to go through and adjust your ROI or margin settings. Go through your bucket that needs to be reviewed, and that either has no velocity or needs to have a cost. So any leads that don't have an ASIN cost because it's missing a lead, go ahead and go through those and add a lead for those ASINs so that it can calculate your profit correctly. Play with the velocity filters. So if you have certain velocity that you want to adjust for your for your specific ASINs, or set the default velocities by clicking on this gear cog right here. You can set a default velocity, and that is pretty much it. And as usual, let us know what else you want or make changes to, and we will be happy to make 3P Mercury better for you each and every day.